What is up, everybody that's just now entering inside of this video today? I'm gonna let you know in advance that we're about to get ready to drop an exclusive bomb inside this entire video today. A lot of people have been wondering exactly how do I build business credit completely from scratch, or is it even still possible? And all throughout this channel, for some reason, I've been the gateway on building business credit, no matter what year it is. See, you can change the player, but you can't change the game. So inside this video, I want to be going over the best methods in order to build business credit and the best ways to actually get yourself funded. If you're ready for this and you're saying, I want to be able to know how to exactly build business credit completely from scratch, then let's go ahead and get to it. So what I'm about to get ready to do inside this channel today is pretty much give you guys a video to where you will never have to watch another video on business credit ever again. You can stick with me all throughout this entire video. And the only excuse you should have on why you cannot get your company funded is that you did not take action on the information I gave you inside of this video. So let's go on and actually get to the first steps on building business credit completely from scratch. The first thing that I want to make sure that I get done when it comes to building business credit is first, I have to be able to actually start a business. I have to start a business. Now, I know that sounds very simple, right? I have to start a business. Well, everybody knows to be able to start a business, but a lot of people start moving inside a business without even having an actual company filed. You guys are looking like side hustles instead of actual businesses. So I want to make sure that I first of all create a company. Now, here's the most important thing that most people mess up on when they're actually going out and applying for business credit. Majority of them are getting denied. They're getting denied out here because their business credit the way they structured their company on paper, it is incorrect. And the bad thing about like nowadays is there's no longer actual humans looking over our applications. It is artificial intelligence, and they look through it just like this. So if you ever wonder why you apply for a credit card and they was able to send you a denial automatically, there's systems looking over it now, not an actual human or underwriter, okay? So here's the thing. Not only do we want to make sure we start a business, but we want to make sure we structure it properly. All right, this is very important. So I want to make sure that first of all, I get my name correct, because what I name my company ultimately determines on what I walk out the bank with. All right. Number two, I want to make sure that my address is correct. Okay. Number three, I want to make sure that I actually have a business phone number. All right. And number four is going to be very important right here. Okay. Making sure that I get my business listed with 401 pages. Now I told you I would better go on exclusive. So we're going to break down all of these right now for you guys. Let's go on and start off with number one. Okay. Naming my company. Your business only falls underneath two categories when you file it. Okay. Either that business is considered as a high risk industry. Okay. Either it's a high risk industry or it's a low risk industry. Either one of these two. But if your company falls at a high risk, that means it's restricted. And you don't want your company to be restricted because you're going to get denied faster than Chick-fil-A line can move, okay? The reason why most people fall at a high risk is because they indicate the industry that they're in on their business name. So give you guys some examples. They use names like trucking, real estate, restaurant, salon, any name that will point out what industry you are in. It makes you a high risk. Now, how I make sure my company falls at a low risk is I want to follow the Fortune 500 companies out in this world. Because when I look at a company name like Apple, that name does not stand for a technology company. Or how about when I look at Starbucks? That doesn't stand for coffee, right? These Fortune 500 companies know this one rule of making sure their business name falls underneath a low risk. It falls underneath the radar so they can walk out the bank with more than they walked in with. All right? Now, address. Here's what most people end up doing. They put their personal address on their business. And I'm very guilty of this because usually the information we don't have access to is what truly costs us every single day. When I started my first company 6 years ago, I put my personal address on my profile and I was wondering why I was constantly getting denied. It's because that's not what the banks actually want to be able to see it. If I'm able to catch one person inside of this video today that was in the same position I was over 6 years ago, and they can let my mistakes become their advantage, I did my job inside of this video today. All right? So banks want to see one of two things when it comes to your address, okay? They want to see either that you have a business office space or that you have a virtual address. Virtual address, okay? One of the best places for you guys to go to get a virtual address is going to be a spot called Anytime Mailbox. Anytime Mailbox. I get it for less than a Happy Meal. Can't make it up. All right. So we got the address done. Now the next thing is a phone number, okay? You don't want to add your personal phone number. Imagine the bank's trying to be able to fund you and they call your number up and it's your actual phone number. They're able to get automatically in touch with you, okay? Now I know if I call Amazon, I can't automatically get in touch with Jeff Bezos. There's a reason why. Because they have a business toll line. I need to get a business toll line in order to look like the Fortune 500 companies out in this world. Now here's the thing, a lot of us are usually worried about being a copycat out in this world, but you are not a copycat as long as you are copying the right cat. That's what you want to make sure, is that you're copying the right cat and not the wrong one, okay? So best place I tell my students to go to get a business toll line is going to be a place called Global Voice Direct. And the reason why I tell them to go there is because every single month that you pay on a business toll line with them, a $7,500 trade line reports to your business credit bureaus every single month. So on the structuring process of your company, you're already building business credit completely from scratch. I can't make this up, chat. All right? I can't make this up. Now, here's the thing. I didn't say this at the beginning, but I want to make sure I say it now. You really want to make sure you have all these things finished before you even start your company. If you made a mistake on it, right? You made a mistake on the structuring process. There's always a way to be able to exchange that information out. But for my new people that have not started a company and you're watching this video, you want to make sure you get these things finished before starting. If you ever seen how a house is built before the first brick is laid, it's already finished on a piece of paper. The house was finished before it was even started. We need to carry our business out that way, okay? Last thing. Getting my business listed with 401 pages. Why is this important? It's because banks want to see your business on credible websites. Write this down. As long as your business is findable, it is fundable. But I gotta make sure it can be found. And how I get that done is by getting it listed with 401 pages. Going to www.listyourself.net and getting my business listed within less than 5 minutes. Now, all this is very simple when it comes to actually structuring your company, okay? But now, all right, Rich, after we're done with the structuring process, this is where we really get to it, to actually building business credit completely from scratch. Now, let me go ahead and take care of this right now, okay? After we have filed the business correctly, you wanna make sure that you actually go out and get your EIN number, okay? How I get these papers is by simply going out. I'm hoping my marker is not going out right now. It's going to irs.gov and I can get my EIN number completely for free. A lot of you guys are getting charged for getting your EIN number through these companies because they charge you for what you don't know. You get charged for what you don't know, okay? So you want to make sure you go out to irs.gov, get your EIN number completely for free. Next, all right? After I structure the business, I want to make sure I go out and get my DUNS number, okay? I want to make sure I get my DUNS number because this is the most important part of actually building business credit. Why? Because the majority of the creditors and lenders of apartment buildings, when you go into dealerships, all of them, you're going to notice they look at your DUNS score, all right? Yeah, they look at your DUNS score, which, really, so I won't confuse any of you guys, is your paydex score, okay? Now, inside of my channel, I do have a video that I made not too long ago on how do I make my paydex score 80 to 100 within the next 30 to 60 days, okay? But you don't have to watch that video because we're gonna go over every single thing inside of this one, all right? So once I have this formula down, y'all excuse me real quick because I'm really operating off bare minimum. I just got this board to be able to really get you guys some information that you need to where you guys can fully understand this, okay? So let's go on and break it down. But I want you guys to understand that you have 4 in total business credit scores. Now, we're not going to talk about the 4th one inside of here today because that's not important until we actually get to the tier 3 level. We'll talk about that inside this video today, okay? Here's the thing. When you begin off building business credit, majority of people, what they do wrong is they end up going out to accounts that report to only one bureau. Big mistake, because you never know when you're applying for a credit card or a line of credit for your business, what bureau they're going to actually pull from. So I want to make sure I'm building all of them at one time. This is what I teach my students, which is called the 3-in-1 rule. Okay, 3-in-1 rule. I want to make sure I go to one account that, hopefully y'all can see that real good, okay? I want to make sure I go to one account that reports to all 3 of my credit bureaus, all right? So here's the thing. There's only 3 tiers when it comes to building business credit. 3 tiers that I have to be able to get through, and these are very simple and easy. I just want to make sure that I make the right moves in order to get the high tier approvals, over $15,000 plus, okay? How I do this is at the tier 1 phase, okay? I want you guys to write this down right now. All right, I need you guys writing this down. All right, at the tier 1 phase, hopefully you guys see that right now, okay? Tier 1 phase, I want to make sure that I start off strong with strong accounts, okay? Strong accounts. Now, what does the average person do? I can't make this up, chat. We go to accounts that don't hold weight. Account like Crown Off Supplies, Wheel, Granger, Uline. All these accounts are useful to build business credit. They can build your business credit. However, they don't hold weight when it comes to the bank's creditors and lenders. So what I want to be able to do is I want to make sure that I start off strong with accounts that are actually strong. What are accounts that's strong, Rich, that I can actually go out and get? Let me go on and write down a couple of them right now for you guys, because we're not holding anything back inside of this video today. I'm going to erase this in just a minute. Credit Strong is one of them, okay? You can go to Credit Strong. They offer you an account, I think $99 a month, to where they report a $2,500 trade line to your business credit bureaus every single month, all 3 of them, okay? Next one is going to be Red Spectrum. This is one of the highest ones right here because they allow you to be able to report a $20,000 trade line reporting to your business credit bureaus. The higher the trade line that you have, the more likely you are to pull out with a higher limit when you go out to when you go out to apply for something. Okay? Next one, E-Credibles. We're going to make this very short, okay? E-Credibles. All right. Let's get to another one. Biz Credit Central, okay? Biz Credit Central. Now, here's the thing. At the tier 1 phase, in order to go from tier 1 to tier 2, you want to make sure that you have at least 5 trade lines that are reported. Best thing you can do is make sure they are heavy hitters, okay? Let me also put NAV so we can go and get y'all the 5th one right now. All right, NAV. Now, y'all want to know what the best thing about these are right now? All these accounts, I'm about here to completely surprise y'all right now. This is how I show my students inside of my Rich Secrets 2.0 ebook, how to be able to build business credit completely like on autopilot. So I don't have to look at it. So what happens is I've created my company and I started correctly, right? At the tier 1 phase, I simply choose my payment method, right? I go out and get Credit Strong. I go out and get Red Spectrum, E-Credibles, Biz Credit Central, and NAV. All these accounts take out my bank account on a monthly basis. The thing is they report a trade line attached to them. So I only have to connect my payment method once, but every single month that they withdraw from my account, they're reporting to my business credit scores every single month. Now, the thing is, the beautiful part is I've created the ultimate guide for you guys in order to be able to build business credit and show you guys effectively how to do it inside the Rich Secrets 2.0 ebook guide. All right, that will be somewhere inside the comment section or the description section of this video for those you need help directly from your boy. All right, so boom, we're now done with the tier 2 phase. I want to make sure I go to NAV and check all of my business credit scores completely for free, okay, and make sure that all these accounts are reporting. At tier 1 phase, what I realized 6 years ago is I was just happy to be able to be building business credit, but I realized, like, hold on, they're not really benefiting me a lot at all. Like, these are just accounts I'm paying on, and that's just reporting to my business credit scores. It's not nothing I can actually utilize for my business. But see, that's where we get to tier 2. All right, the most important part. Tier 2 phase. Why is this phase so important? This is where I start to be able to build corporate credit. All right, if you guys have made it to this section inside the video right now, make sure you drop corporate for me down below so I can know that you guys are actually paying attention and listening. I gotta extra wipe this board. Tier 2 phase is where I'll start to build corporate credit, okay? Corporate credit. Now here's the thing, everybody tells you guys about business credit, nobody talks about corporate credit, which this is what allows your business to actually stand alone. So if I want to be able to go to the tier 3 level, I have to build corporate credit. This is what gives my business credibility. All right. So what do most entrepreneurs make a big mistake on the tier 2 phase? Is they usually automatically go out and start applying for corporate credit cards. But here's the issue. They end up either getting denied or they walk out with a very low tier amount. This is what I correct with majority of my students right now. We don't want to go out and automatically apply for the corporate credit cards. Instead, what we want to start off with, all right? I want y'all to write this down right now. All right, store cards, gas cards. Now, here's where it gets like very juicy for you guys, because this is where you're actually able to start using these cards to actually apply to your business, right? To apply to your business. Because store cards right here, okay? Now let me go and correct this. I want to make sure I get at least 2 to 4 store cards, okay? At least 2 to 4 store cards, 2 to 4 gas cards reporting before I go out and apply for the corporate credit cards, all right? Because this is what's going to help me build my limits. That way when I go out and apply for the corporate credit cards, I get an even higher limit. Because these corporate credit cards are what's going to allow you to be able to spend anywhere you need when it comes to your company. These cards are based on certain stores. But let's talk about that right now, okay? 2 to 4 gas cards, 2 to 4 store cards. How can this actually be useful for my company right now? Okay, getting to this tier 2 phase. I had a student that was probably like, what was that? It was a good little minute ago. I had a student probably about 8 months ago, okay? What she did was, is she went out, she wanted to start a vending machine company, right? She wanted to start a vending machine company. However, she didn't have her own money to be able to do it. So what did she do? She went out and got the Sam's Club, okay? Sam's Club MasterCard. Now here's the thing. Her approval on that Sam's Club MasterCard was $8,000. Y'all wanna know what she did? Now, this is the true method of OPM right here. She got approval of $8,000. She went on Sam's Club site and she purchased her a vending machine for $5,000. Now, here's the thing. She allowed the vending machine to be able to pay this back off. The whole point was she didn't use her money in order to be able to start the business automatically from the tier 2 phase. Isn't that crazy right there? That's completely crazy. Now, if you saying, hey, listen, well, Rich, I don't want to start a vending machine company. You can do this in any type of way you want to. I had another student that got approved for $15,000 from Amazon, which is also another store card, right? $15,000 from Amazon. They went out and purchased one of those inflatable clubs. One of those inflatable clubs from Amazon. It cost them about $1,200 to be able to do it. And guess what they start doing? They start renting that inflatable club out to people. Once again, isn't that crazy, okay? So I want to start off with the store cards and gas cards. All right, and what that does is that allows me to be able to get mosey my way on down to the corporate credit cards. Now, here's where I see most people make a big mistake at once again. Once again, we're watching these videos on YouTube and all these other type of different people that are usually misleading us, because I was one of the people that got misled when I first started building business credit. And a lot of the information I found out was trash. Trash. All right, so what most people get misled at is they think that they should be going out and applying for business credit cards. There's a difference between business credit cards and corporate credit cards. Business credit cards all do personal guarantees. Like when we're going to banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, all these banks do a personal guarantee and they pull your personal credit. What I want to do, if I'm going solely off the EIN number, is I want to be able to apply for corporate credit cards that do no PG. No PG. Okay? They won't pull my personal credit. They solely only go off of my business credit. All right? Now, see, when we went over the tier 1 phase, after that phase is over with, you should already see your paydebt score at about 80 to 100. Okay? And when we're getting these gas cards and store cards, you're not going to see anything but it actually goes up. Okay? But once we have all these reporting, now we want to go out to the corporate credit cards and start applying for the ones that will not pull a personal guarantee. And you guys are going to be able to see high limit approvals. Why? Because you did it right the first time. You did it right the first time. Take my mistakes, turn them into your advantage. You see? Because they once said that, hey, listen, a smart man, right, makes a mistake and learns from that mistake. A wise man learns from the smart man mistakes and avoids them completely. So you want to be the wise one. All right? Now, at this corporate credit card level, right, how many do we actually have to get the corporate credit cards in order to go to the tier 3 level? Well, see, there's no limit. Okay? There's no limit at all. Okay? No limit when it comes to applying for these corporate credit cards. All right? The more that you get and the higher limits that you're actually able to sustain, the more they're getting us closer to the tier 3 level. Now, tier 3 level is going to be very important, okay? It's not very much we're going to be able to talk about inside of this video today on the tier 3 level, because there's a lot of different things that you can actually utilize at the tier 3. But I will tell you guys this, okay? At the tier 3 level, okay? Why this is important is because this is when I'm actually able to start getting things underneath my business name. When I say things, I mean apartments, okay? When you go into an apartment and you want to be able to get a corporate lease, they're going to go solely off your Dun and Bradstreet number, but they also want to check your scores to make sure that you have high limits in history, corporate credit built. All right? They want to make sure you have corporate credit built. So not only apartment, cars. Okay? See, this is when we get into this lane to where we're actually able to stand alone, go out to dealerships, go out to apartments, and get them underneath our business name. This is when we get real cold right here, chat. I want to make sure that I get to this tier 3 level. Now, we've broken down every single thing on how you actually build business credit completely from scratch. And I told you guys, once again, the only excuse you should have when you end this video today is that you did not take action on the information I gave you guys, all right? For those of you who need extra help, you saying, hey, listen, Rich, I need a full guide for me. That way, I don't have to come back and watch this video. I can look it up right up on my phone, right? The Risk Secrets 2.0 ebook guide is going to be inside of the comment section or the description section of this video, okay? Hopefully, I was able to help you guys break down step by step on exactly how you build business credit solely off the EIN number and get your approvals. If this was very helpful for you today, make sure you drop ready for me down below to let me know that you're going to start applying some of these methods ASAP. All right. And until next time, you already know it's your boy Risk Secrets, and we are out.